Ladies and gentlemen, every once in a while, a Linux distribution comes along that really surprises you, that really exceeds all of your expectations and raises the bar. And I'm happy to bring you one of those distributions today. We're talking about Netrunner 13.12 Enigma 2. This is one of the most impressive KDE distributions that I've run across in a long time. It is based on Kubuntu, which is the KDE respin of Ubuntu, so it's going to have a very solid, stable, well-documented base that it's built upon. So let's dive right in, let's take a look and see what you get with Netrunner 13.12. Netrunner sports a what I call a traditional desktop layout, meaning you get the one desktop with your icons displayed prominently, one panel along the bottom of the screen, and your menu in the lower left-hand corner. That's what I consider traditional. It's the type of desktop layout that is going to be familiar to a new Linux user. But you know what? It is Linux. If you want your bar on the bottom or the side or completely gone, you can do that too. But this is what I consider traditional. So let's dive right in and see what you get. On the desktop, beginning on the right, we have a shortcut for our web accounts. This will let you integrate your Google, Facebook, OwnCloud, or Runner's ID accounts. Also, you have shortcut to Steam. Steam does come fully installed, so if you want to manage your gaming experience, you can do that right from here. There's a shortcut for a README. We're going to come back to that in a moment. You also have a shortcut for your network. This is where you're going to mount and access your network drives. And a My Computer icon. This My Computer application it's one of the better ones I've seen, frankly. It's easy to read, non-cluttered, has all of your vital computer statistics right here. You have information on your operating system. We're running Netrunner 13.12, which is system is the Linux Core 3.11, and we're running KDE 4.11.2, which at this time I believe that is the latest version. It also gives you your display info, CPU information, memory information, your network status, and disk information. You can see you have my hard disk here, as well as you can see I've left the VirtualBox guest extensions installed. As always, this is running in a virtual, 2 gigabytes of RAM and 2 dedicated processors. And even with that, this system is snappy, it's responsive, no problems at all. So let's come back over to this README. We'll take a peek at that. Clicking on the README is actually going to take me out to the web, and it's going to open up the netrunneros.com README page. This README page gives you some quick tips on things that they recommend you do after first installation, as well as how-tos. For example, how to disable secure boot. One of the things that's so impressive about Netrunner's documentation is that it's all video driven. So to disable secure boot, there's not just a how-to guide. They give you a video that shows you step by step how to do that. I really appreciate that. That is actually, the documentation is one of the things that I look at when I consider whether or not I want to recommend a particular distro for a new user. Now, being based on Kubuntu, you're going to have all that excellent Ubuntu documentation out there on the web. But Netrunner has done such a good job at their own documentation that it just adds another layer on top of it. So yeah, I would recommend this for a new user. In fact, from the Netrunner website, if you go over to tutorials, you have the README installing Netrunner. There's actually an installation guide there. And this excellent screencast tutorials page, which we're going to open that up. Here we go, screencasts. Here you'll find a series of screencasts, which are video tutorials, ranging from beginner stuff to more advanced tasks. So they cover a wide range of how-tos. How to mount network drives, how to change the wallpaper. So if you're new to KDE, even general tasks, you can learn how to do things here. How to add a menu icon to the panel, how to back up a video from the internet for offline viewing. So they show you how to do lots of tasks on the website via videos. I really appreciate that. We're going to minimize this because I want to come back to it in just a few minutes. Moving down to the panel, in the lower right hand corner we have an information icon. This little gear icon actually will launch, I can't even remember what it's called. Let's take a look at that. Icon settings, there it is, K-Runner. Alright, anytime you want to know what an icon is running, by the by, right click it, go to icon settings, and there's what it is running. Okay. So K-Runner. K-Runner is an excellent utility. From here, if you know what you're looking for, if you know what you want to launch, you can just start typing it. So if you want to launch LibreOffice, you see I just started typing LI and it brought up my commands that fit that criteria. If I wanted to launch Firefox, just start typing Fire and there you go. As well as it gives you some other suggestions that go along with it. So you can go to specific shortcuts within Firefox. So if you wanted to go to the Duck Hunt or Facebook shortcut in Firefox, you can launch that right from here. So yeah, that's a nice utility to have. I'll close it out. Moving on, we have our calendar and clock utility, network status monitor, battery monitor if applicable, mounted volumes, volume control along with your mixer, clipboard monitor. This is pretty cool. They have telepathy already installed and writing right there in your taskbar. Telepathy is for instant messaging, online contacts. The next one that looks like a terminal is actually Yakwake. You can launch it either by clicking on the icon from the terminal or by hitting the F12 button. We'll also drop it down. Yakwake is an advanced terminal emulator that is very handy. You can start running things from here. Let's see if this will work. Ping google.com. Okay, you can start to ping it from here. There we go, it's pinging back. Close it, open it back up, and it's still running. So yeah, that's cool. Clear. Helps if I can type right. Alright, another couple little notes here about Yakwake. It is a tabbed browser. You can click this little plus icon to open up a new shell, and you can tab back and forth between the shells. Within these particular shells, you can right click and you can let's see, get down to your manager profiles here. You can create a new profile or edit your particular one that you're running in. This is where you can actually go in and change your icon, change your appearance if you want, and it does support live previews. So if you wanted to change the way it looks, you can do that. You can change the scrolling. Fixed scroll back size is by default. You can scroll back 1,000 lines, or you can switch it to unlimited or none if you want. Keyboard, mouse options, and some advanced options there. So yeah, it's a very nice advanced emulator. You can even split them if you want. So it's just a really nice emulator. I'm glad to see that they included it. You don't see it that often. You used to see it a lot more, but it looks like it's making a bit of a comeback in Netrunner. Open windows will be displayed here in this central portion, and if you notice here at the bottom of the screen, your icons and your open windows, you have this really nice underglow feature. Netrunner is very much a visually appealing distribution, but they didn't go overboard on the visual effects. You have some nice transparencies set up by default, and you have those nice underglows. but they really didn't go overboard on it. So it really looks nice. Anyway, I have no idea why I opened that. Let's go back to it. Moving back along, there is a shortcut for Firefox, which is the default web browser. There's a shortcut for your file manager, which is Dolphin, which is one of my favorite file managers out there. It's a very advanced, highly configurable file manager with a nice icon theme, in keeping with their nice blue theming going on here. Before we get down to the start menu, I wanted to show you on this desktop you also have another feature. If you hit F11, it'll open up their side panel. This is very similar to the panel along the bottom. You can add widgets. You go to right click it, go to panel options, add widgets. By default you have your I believe this is a tie-in for your video player. Your volume control is here, as well as a analog clock. But I mean, you can add any number of things you want just by you can drag and drop it if you want, or you can just double click, move it in, move it around. It's very much configurable. So what we're going to do, we're going to hit F11 and close this. There's another way you can open it, and it's with the gestures. What you want to do is kind of like swiping on a tablet, where you're going to swipe your mouse from right to left to open it. But as you're swiping, you're going to strike and release your left mouse button. So just like that. Okay? To put it back, you're going to do the opposite. You're going to go from left to right, and while the mouse is in motion, go ahead and tap your left mouse button. Just like that. Very easy. So it's handy, especially if you're actually using a mouse and not a laptop pad like I am. Okay, enough about that. So let's go back down to this menu, because I really like this menu layout that they've got going on here. It's kind of reminiscent of Windows in a way, but it makes more sense after the Linux fashion. All of your applications are grouped by category, and you can see the menus, your selected menu and your selected application are all indicated by this really nice underglow. It's visually appealing yet unobtrusive. So I really like that. So let's take a look and see what you have installed. Under games, there are quite a few games installed. So you're going to have plenty to do in your free time. Again, including Steam. So we're not going to go over all of those. You can kind of see what's going on there. For graphics, the GIMP is installed. Gwenview, Casimo, Carbon, Krita, K-Snapshot, and K-Scan Lite. For Internet, FileZilla is installed. Again, Firefox is the default web browser. Conversation, Pigeon Internet Messenger, Qt Transmission for your BitTorrent client. Skype is installed. Telepathy, and Thunderbird for an email client. Moving on to multimedia, we have Clementine, excellent utility for listening to your audio files. Kdenlive is installed and configured, which Kdenlive is my favorite and my choice video editing software. I'm glad to see that came installed. Kmix is your sound mixer. QMMP, VLC media player, excellent choice, and VocoScreen, which is an excellent screencasting utility. I record all my videos with VocoScreen when possible. For Office, Calligraph Flow is installed, as well as the LibreOffice suite. You get Calc, which is for spreadsheets, Impress for presentations, and LibreOffice Writer for your documents. Settings menu, you have the driver manager to help you manage the drivers for your hardware. Jack and Joe, we're going to come back to that in just a couple minutes. Your software sources, system settings, and a utility for your Windows wireless drivers. The system settings in this version of KDE have been simplified and consolidated. You can see that it may look at first blush, if you're used to using KDE, it may seem that a few things are missing, but they are not. You simply have a more logically categorized, slimmed down system setting panel. So if you go into workspace behavior, you can see your desktop effects have been moved here, as well as your screen edges, virtual desktop, splash screen, and task switcher. It's all been consolidated here. So if you want to get your desktop view cube on, it's still here, folks. It's all under this one consolidated system setting panel. I really like where they went with this. Moving on, come down to utilities. Aggregator is installed, as well as Arc. Easy stroke gesture recognition, so if you want to do some more gestures for your desktop, you can do that there. K3B, which is actually one of the better disk burning utilities that I've run into. Kate for your text editor. Let's see, Kcalc, Clipper, Kmag, Kmouse tool, Knotes is installed. So there are several. One of the things I really like about Netrunner's implementation of KDE is that where possible, they have stuck with Qt applications. If you're not familiar, Qt is the library set that runs KDE. Qt drives KDE and Razer Qt desktop. Your other desktop environments like GNOME, they run off GTK. And while you can run GTK applications in KDE and you can run Qt applications in GTK, what really winds up happening is you wind up loading unnecessary libraries in your system, which is going to put an increased demand on your RAM. So you may experience a bit slower performance out of your system by combining the applications. Let's see. Moving on, Wine is installed, and you have a shortcut for your recent documents and recent applications. On the left-hand side of this panel, this is your favorites area over here. You can pin items to your favorites. By default, Voco screen is over here, as well as your drivers manager, system settings, your system monitor, and the Synaptic package manager. Let's take a moment and talk about package management. This contains Synaptic package manager, which is one of the most robust advanced package management systems out there. Close that. But it's not really for the new user. A new user is going to be quickly frustrated and really lost in Synaptic. I'm glad that it's here for the more experienced user, but one of the things that I'm really glad to see is that they included the Muon suite. You have the Muon Update Manager, the Muon Package Manager, and especially the Muon Discoverer. So let's open this up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, if you're new to Linux, this is one of my favorite package management systems. It's quick, easy to navigate, easy to use, and this is where I suggest a new user start. It is a categorized package management system, so when you launch it here, you can see I have my installed software, or you can discover new software. You can manage your sources. You can see on my installed applications I have 224 updates waiting to go in. Let's take a peek at that right quick. When you're doing your updates, you can choose. It does a really good job at breaking down what all needs updates. You can choose to update or remove the application one at a time, or in the upper right hand corner you can choose to update all. Okay, so if you want to update everything, you can do that all right here from Muon Discoverer. Let's go back over to Discover for a moment. Say you're looking for a new web browser. You can simply go down to Internet. It's subcategorized. You can see your web browser, and they also offer you some of the most popular and the highest rated applications here, and those do follow the subcategories. So we're looking for a web browser. We went into Internet. Let's look at web browsers, obviously. And here we go. All of our web browsers right here for us. So let's take a look at Chromium. Click on it. It takes you into the Chromium page. You have the option of visiting the home page. Tells you a little bit about it. Gives you a few screenshots in the Overview tab. You can look at the Add-ins tab and see if there's anything that you can add on to it. And there's even a Review tab if you want to read some reviews on the application. When you're ready, click Install. Just that simple. So, say you are a new user. I accidentally turned that on. I keep launching that side panel. Say you are a new user, you don't want to use Synaptic, but you want to add Muon to your favorites. Simple. Right click the Synaptic Package Manager icon, click Remove from Favorites, go back into System, right click your Muon Discoverer. Now you have a choice to add it to your favorites, add an icon to the desktop, add it to the panel, or add it as a launcher to the panel. So we're going to add it to favorites, and there it is. Just that simple. Okay? Also on this system menu, you have the option to log out, reboot, and shut down your computer. It is searchable. So you start typing Fire, it'll bring up Firefox for you. Just one of the best menu systems for KDE that I've seen. Simple, yet fully functional and unobtrusive. It's just a beautiful, they did a beautiful job with it in my opinion. Now, another note about package management. I want to pull this website back up. Their Firefox KDE has a couple of shortcuts, a couple links, bookmarks already laid out for you up here. You can go to the Netrunner homepage, which is where we're at now, Netrunner Mag, or you have this thing called Jack and Joe. Let's take a look at Jack and Joe, because I haven't seen Jack and Joe before Netrunner, and I'm glad that they included it. Jack and Joe is an online package management system. So similar to Muon Discoverer, say you're looking for a web browser, we'll go over to Internet, and there are several Internet-based applications. So let's say you wanted to install Chromium web browser. There it is. We'll click on Chromium. It'll give you, again, an overview of what it is. You can check out some reviews, see related topics, and then you can install it right from the web. So that's really cool. I like that. Jack and Joe. And Jack and Joe is not just for Netrunner, I don't believe. I think you can get there and do net installations for other distros as well. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. So Netrunner. I do highly recommend this distribution, regardless of your skill level. Everyone from the complete novice in Linux to the more advanced user, I believe, will feel right at home in Netrunner. I'm glad I downloaded it. I'm glad I gave it a try. In fact, I believe that I'm going to install this and drive it for a while as my primary desktop. Please download it. Let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me today on Run Level 0. I hope to be with you soon for another video.